Hi, and welcome to Back to the Balcony, the podcast about movies and culture from a classic century. I am your host, Jimmy England. Now, a few months back, I asked two of our regular guests, Mario Bernardi and Chris Jarvie, to watch a movie that I really love, 1934's The Thin Man, and I was just curious to see how it would hold up between the two of them. And it got some really favorable responses, so favorable that I asked them to watch as well after The Thin Man, which is the one you're going to hear coming up. The Thin Man was a surprise hit. It was a B movie on a B movie budget. There's some real B movie things in there, but it is carried by the bantering and getting along of Myrna Loy and William Powell. They're just terrific together, so terrific that they went on to make 4 sequels to the Thin Man series. Here it is. As always, this is an audio podcast, which means after I stop talking, it's no pictures of any consequence, so feel free to just walk around and listen to it. I think you're going to find it really interesting.
This is my Poppy's podcast. He likes to talk about movies from the 20th century. That's like a million years ago. He knows a lot, but his friends must know even more, because they're always telling him he's wrong. But he's funny and interesting and a good Poppy, even if he doesn't know what a spoiler is. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Back to the Balcony, the podcast about movies and culture from a classic century. And Phil is back. Good to see you, my friend. This is one of 3 episodes we're recording today, and it's been a few weeks since you rewrote your exam to become a certified...
Chartered analyst.
Certified chartered analyst.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to think about that. CFA, yeah.
Okay. You wrote your exam in August the 14th.
I wrote in August, and then I got the results on October 23rd. So it takes about 8 weeks to get the results.
Yeah, so we actually had recorded your podcast on the 21st or the 22nd, a series of them. So there's been this immense 6 months gap between the two, 4 months gap.
Exactly, yeah. The day I got it, I was like really nervous. I didn't think I did so well. So I was like, I had my phone on my desk in the office, and I got the notification before I left for work, right? So it kind of ruined my day when I found out I didn't pass, but I was like, whatever.
That was the first time.
That was the first time. So then I was like, okay. So I was like, this time around, I was like, I didn't want to even look. I was like, I'm not going to look. So I didn't look. I went to work, and everyone in the office was asking me, did you find out? Did you find out? And I'm like, I haven't even checked. And they were like, give me your phone. I'll check. So I looked and I hadn't gotten the notice. I said, oh, that's weird. So then maybe a couple hours later, I saw that it came up, but I was like, I didn't want to look at it. So I turned the phone over and I was like, okay, I'm going to grab my coffee. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to check it. So I went downstairs, I checked it, and then I got the congratulations. You are now
guess you didn't have to tell anybody because your yell of enjoyment and knowing that you passed must have gone throughout the whole building.
Yeah, I went back up and I let everybody know, and it was a good day for sure.
Oh, no kidding. I got a call from you. I was at Costco, but no, that was the highlight of my day that Phil passed his test. I'm so happy for you.
Well, when I passed level 2, you had sent me a nice little gift.
Right.
And when I passed level 3, the second time, you sent me the gift. So I think that's the common denominator.
There you go. There you go. Anyway.
Yes, cash will brighten up anybody's day.
Well, we let that sink in. We're joined today by Mario Bernardi and Chris Jarvie to talk about a follow-up to a movie I made them watch, 1934's The Thin Man. And while you didn't give it rave reviews, you did admit it was at least entertaining, didn't you?
Yes. You're talking about the original one.
The original,
first one,
yes.
And The Thin Man, yes.
And Chris,
the first one was enjoyable.
It was kind of in a suspension of some of the, not disbelief, but you kind of took it at face value.
Right.
Fresh, clean, hadn't seen it before, and I was pleasantly surprised. So.
I'm not going to rewatch it, but I enjoyed the time I did.
Okay, good. That's a great setup. And one can almost sense the butt, can't they?
Leave my butt out of this.
Which I wasn't sure was going to be the case because it was a B movie with poor production values, but not a bad script and a couple of leads who just sparkled on screen. So I wanted to see if lightning would strike twice. And you two guys agreed to watch the follow-up movie, 1936's After the Thin Man, which is arguably a much better treated movie when it comes to production values. But is that the case? Is it indeed a better movie? We'll start with Chris because you've been broadcasting this from the get-go.
Is it a better movie? Production value, absolutely. The lighting was better. The staging was better. I know one of the complaints Mario and I both had for the first one was the fact that every room looked the same.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one. It's like, oh, there's a door and a wall.
Yeah. And pieces of furniture that would get from one room to another.
Exactly.
Room,
It's like, I'm pretty sure that couch was in somebody else's apartment.
Did they just move it around?
Yeah, exactly. This one had much better production value. I think this one had better writing as far as the jokes.
Right.
This one was substantially longer as well. I think the first one had like a less than 90-minute runtime.
Yeah,
I think it was like 82 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
And this one was almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. I know. I had to look at the.
I did too.
The DVD package again and say, how long is this?
I'm watching this for 2 hours.
For 1936, that's
That's
unheard of.
I want to say it was like an hour and 53
3
minutes.
minutes, something like that.
It appeared like the writing was kind of put aside for the jokes.
So the plot, the
Yeah,
history.
The plot itself could have been done in about 25 minutes.
What about you, Mario? What did you think?
I'm in a conundrum because I don't like watching movies or TV shows twice.
Right.
Right? I don't like going back.
Right.
You're not
No,
a
I've made
rewatcher? You're not a rewatcher?
No, I'm
You're
not.
one and done.
Except for Lord of the Rings. I'll watch that till the cow. Anyhow, I watched it, and I watched it so far in advance of this podcast that I felt I needed to watch it again.
Right.
And after I watched it the first time, I was in complete agreement with Chris. Same thing. Oh, this looks better. The writing was good, but it was the writing of the jokes, right, as opposed to the storytelling part and all that kind of stuff. And that's the way I felt. And up until as recently as last week, that's how I felt. And this week, I rewatched it because I just said, you know what, I need to refresh my memory of what goes on. So I did. And man, talk about a 180-degree flip. I thought this movie was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. You know, it's like I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And I don't know if I started noticing other little things in it.
The second
or
time
I just
around?
knew what was going on, so it wasn't as confused.
Was it
but
the
I
fact
was.
that you were able to follow it?
Yes, I could follow it better the second time, but I still had, you're absolutely spot on. I'm sitting there trying to remember names that they referred to, and then they throw you another curve, like the guy that played her brother / ex-husband, like the nightclub singers. He was known as Phil. And then you find out that he was really her ex-husband, and his real name was something like Paul or something like that.
And they
I
kept
can't
referring
remember.
to him as Paul at the end.
At the end. I
And
know.
I kept going, who's Paul?
Overall, I enjoyed it the second time I watched it.
Listen, everybody out there, Mario and I walk twice a week. And although when we're doing podcasts, we don't get into any great depth, on occasion, we'll touch on an upcoming thing.
Yeah, and
we
just
know.
kind of lay the land. Or
Right,
look
Mario.
at the lay of
And
the
I
land.
know whether Mario likes it or not. So I am sitting here absolutely flabbergasted. Today is Sunday. We walked on Friday, and on Friday, he did not like the movie.
That's right, because on yesterday afternoon, that's how fresh it is. I watched it again, and I go, geez. This is okay.
Were you able to watch it all in one go?
Yeah.
Were you able to sit there and watch both times?
Yeah, both times. I can't do that. I can't leave and go back. I need to dedicate.
I'll be honest. I had to restart 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times I had to pause it and be like, I need to take a minute.
Well, judging by Mario's criteria, you should have absolutely adored it by that 5th time.
Oh my God.
No, it's just different. It's like, that's never happened to me before. It's kind of a
I'm not
testament to the
rewatching
movie,
it.
too.
Oh.
Especially when you think back, this is almost a 90-year-old movie.
It is.
It's almost a century old.
The jokes were much better in this one.
Yes.
They definitely pushed some lines.
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning part with the dog.
Yeah, even with the dog and the black puppy.
And the black puppy. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's, I don't know, maybe for the times that wasn't a risky joke.
No, it wasn't at the time.
Well, it was
okay.
pretty liberal at the time.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that is funny because I didn't quite get that after the first watching.
Oh, I got
And it
that
was
right
like
away.
in my face. Like I just kind of fluffed it off. I'm not an animal person.
Just so our
Anyway.
listeners know, what happens is they go back to San Francisco, Asta. We find out that Asta has a Mrs. Asta.
Asta's the dog
Sorry, yes.
that went with them to, was it New York?
Yeah.
For their vacation. And this movie is set, they leave New York from their vacation and return to their home in San
It's
Francisco.
literally a week later because the one was over Christmas and this one's over New Year's.
And
New
let's
Year's,
be
that's it.
honest, the dog in the first one almost steals the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this one, the dog goes home. If you find out there's a Mrs. Asta, she's in her pen. He's on the outside of it. These puppies come out, and then comes out a black puppy.
Yeah.
And we find out then there's a black
Terrier
that comes through the fence. And
the thing I hadn't noticed the first time watching the movie was how sad Asta was after that. And I keyed on that because the dog is at the fence of the pen, and after the black terrier gets chased off, he comes back. The dog was really well trained. You see it hang its head and whimper or whatever,
right,
and then go off. And then there's another scene after that with Nick and Nora talking about, and the dog's barking at the door. They let the dog in, and it comes in, and it kind of howls a bit, and it's got its hang dog kind of body language, and it goes off in the corner. And I never tweaked on that. Right. And then it just occurred, the dog's depressed. He knows that his mate has been unfaithful to him and all. That's a whole thing that I completely missed in the first viewing.
Did you know, and I saw this online, so let's take this with a grain of salt, that a dog can carry the
DNA
of two different dogs at the same time?
Yeah, dogs and cats both can.
Oh, really? Cats can as well?
Yeah, cats can too.
Oh, so hence
that's why you have a litter with all different.
Yeah.
We think of it as just an offshoot where this is a
she messed around with the other dog.
I will say I really liked the foreshadowing. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the foreshadowing of the dog having puppies to tie in with the ending.
Yes.
I did like that. I thought that was very well written.
Infidelity, right? Because her cousin, has the husband that's messing around and disappeared.
It's almost like the dog was telling the future.
Yes, yeah.
It happened to me. It'll happen to you.
Yeah.
Okay. William Powell and Myrna Loy, the heart of the Thin Man movie. Still the heart of this one.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
very much. They were the strongest characters, and everybody else was a side character, with the exception of Jimmy Stewart.
Would Jimmy Stewart have been that much of a standout to you had you not looked at it with current eyes?
In hindsight, that's true. You could see glimpses of him in It's a Wonderful Life, where he kind of breaks down at the end, and it had the same echoes of George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life, kind of losing it.
It kind of reminded me of this is going to be a weird jump, but the Gremlins effect, where it was one of Jennifer Aniston's first movies she ever did, and every time they re-released Gremlins on DVD or Blu-ray, the picture of Jennifer Aniston got bigger on the cover because she was more famous. It's like, oh yeah, Jimmy Stewart was in this, but
Well, what's interesting, though, is, you're only talking to A Wonderful Life. You're only talking a 3-year difference.
So it was within that.
If you watch enough Jimmy Stewart, there are certain things that he does, mannerisms, and the way he reacts. I've spoken about this before, but there was a radio series called The Six Shooter that he started. And you listen to it, and it was actually fairly decent, but there were just certain things he would vocalize in certain ways in certain
inflections
situations.
In his voice.
Yeah, exactly. Over and over
common.
again, you'd hear the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was that Jimmy Stewart using those tricks that he knew.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. Usually I open with some banter about how familiar you are with the movie, but apparently we've run amok already with this thing. So I'm going to just jump right into the credits. The writers were Francis Goodrich and Albert Hackett. They get credit for the screenplay, and Dashiell Hammett got credit for the story. And while the original was based on his book, this was based on a story he developed for the movie. That's not an easy task because he was prone to running off and going on benders, so they had a hard time getting him to write the whole thing. It starred William Powell, Myrna Loy, James Stewart, Alyssa Landy, Joseph Kalia. Now, here's an interesting fact about Joseph Kalia. He was from Malta. And he was in scores of pictures. And most people like...
Oh, yeah. I've seen him in a lot of character actors. That dark Mediterranean type.
He's so respected in Malta that in 1997, 22 years after his death, and on what would have been his 100th birthday, they issued 2 stamps in his honor.
Wow. Well, Hollywood actor, right?
Yeah, well, I guess he also was a big deal in Malta. I'm sure he did more international films than just the stuff out of Hollywood, but that's the place we would know.
Yeah, because there's the thing here in North America that we're mostly not aware of is that whole other film industry in Europe. In those days, it was like France, Germany, Italy,
Huge. Also included Jesse Ralph, Dorothy McNulty. I almost feel like I'm cheating here. Does that name ring any bells for anybody? Dorothy McNulty.
Jessie Ralph does, because she played Aunt Catherine.
Aunt Catherine.
And she's played that character in scores of other movies. Just that matronly, overbearing, highly snooty. Yeah.
She's a cliche of that particular character.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a hint. She would later change her name and go on to greater fame as Penny Singleton. Does that help for anybody?
Oh,
I'm reading her
name's
IMDb and it's not coming up anything for me.
No, it wasn't for you. From 1938 to 1950, she appeared in 28 Blondie movies based on the Blondie comic strip.
Oh, okay.
I know where I know her from.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is there's going to be a place where yes, you will have a better chance. Do you know?
I just read it.
You cheated.
I'm not gonna say that I realized it, but yes. Jane Jetson.
She is the voice of Jane Jetson.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
She died in 2003, age 95.
God bless her.
God bless her indeed.
The Jetsons, eh?
Estimated budget on the movie was $673,000, and the estimated box office was $3.1 million, and that's according to Wikipedia.
5 times more.
5 times more. Obviously, he was a hit with the public out there. Well, it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like they said, it was the most successful sequel to the whole series, the whole series.
But you can't watch it anywhere, though. In fact, Jim
You
has
can't.
the only physical copy in the entire country.
I think you can find it on streaming
You
somewhere.
can watch 3 minutes at a time on YouTube. I'm not even joking. You can. That is literally the only way I found it other than borrowing Jim's DVD, is you can watch 3 minutes at a time on YouTube.
I just wanna know,
39 clips.
Jim, how did you get your hands on this?
I own the complete Thin Man series that I bought years ago because I always liked the Thin Man. I'd seen 1 or 2 of the other ones, and I wanted them all. And it also came with the Thin Man TV series from the 1950s, which unfortunately didn't star Myrna Loy and William Powell, and as a result, doesn't even come close to this in terms of likability.
The chemistry, on-screen chemistry.
Because these are the same writers who wrote the original series. Did they learn anything from the other movie that they played up here to better effect?
That's hard to pick anything specific. It's, I think, just the overall feel. It was a little more polished.
It was more polished, and the jokes seemed more dynamic. They kept trying with the jokes in the first one, and what worked, and what didn't. Whereas this one, you could kind of tell they had polished the jokes up.
Yes, they knew what would work.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot that would fall flat.
Still a lot of drinking?
Oh, yeah. It's still, man.
The New Year's party scene.
Well, yeah, but not just that. I mean, and knowing that Dashiell Hammett, right, would go on benders and that, so anything he would write would cast alcoholism in a more positive light. But also that was, I think, the overall culture of the day. They didn't look down on alcohol and all that kind of stuff.
I did think it was interesting because I thought Myrna Loy was not as aggressively drinking.
That's right. She was much more subdued in that. You didn't see it as often, I thought.
I think it's interesting that you said about the writing. The writing was the only thing that got nominated for awards in this one. None of the acting did. Whereas in the first film, I think they were both up for Best Actress, Best Actor.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And this one, it was just, I think, writing and screenplay.
It still didn't win, mind you, but
The first one didn't win either.
yeah.
Because it is a mystery movie. The first 20 minutes is like a comedy segue.
Yeah.
What did you think of that opening
On the train?
on the train and then back at the house?
I thought it was more of a, hey, remember how fun they are? And like get you back into the hook of remembering the joyfulness of the characters before we got into a serious murder mystery.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one was more character introduction. This was character reminding.
Yes.
And like the pickpocketer scene at the beginning.
Yes. Fingers.
Yeah, fingers. Yeah. They didn't need that. That was just there for let's have some fun.
What did you think about the way, Mario, that they literally picked it up where the other movie left off?
Yeah, on the train coming in. I thought some of those train scenes at the beginning were like, okay. Some of those scenes you couldn't see, especially on I guess, the budget for movies at the time. I couldn't see them sending crews out into the Rockies and filming these trains. So they had to lift these clips from something. Nowadays you call it B-roll, right? Go
Do you think
search
they
through
shot
the B-roll
that?
library, see if you can get some. And there were like 3 or 4 shots of the train going through the mountains or over the plains at the beginning that were very picturesque and very technically well shot.
It felt like filler, though.
Yeah, it's filler, right? Yeah, it is. But I thought, how did they do that in this movie? Like, where did they get these shots from?
I will say the beginning bit reminded me of the transition between Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2, where they literally almost show you the same scene
Right. Yeah.
right over top of
Yeah,
itself.
right, like an overlap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was kind of where we were. Like, you didn't leave off and stuff has happened. You're literally right back where the last one ended.
We went from New York City to
San Francisco, I
San
guess.
Francisco. Did you get a feel of San Francisco from that?
Oh yeah, like especially the views. Like what blew me away was their open car to go from the train station to their house. Well, their mansion.
The mansion.
On, I don't know if it's Signal Hill or whatever. The car going through, that was kind of a neat sequence where they're actually seeing people in other cars that they know.
Well, I love the one that the beer truck goes by.
Oh, yes. He's got my order. Can resume. Yeah, pick him up. You can deliver that again.
What was the production difference time-wise from this one and the first one?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. But the budget was 4 times what the first one was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could tell they had some money to play with.
Well, that's one of the reasons why the first movie was so short. You're doing a B movie. The longer the movie goes, the more expensive it becomes.
Yes.
Right.
So if you do it that way, you can keep it short. They may have sent people out to take those shots because they apparently took a lot of shots of San Francisco that ended up on the cutting room floor. They never made it into the movie.
Yeah.
Do you think they moved it to San Francisco because they knew they were filming California way and it made sense for production?
It's an interesting concept, but if I remember correctly, Dashiell Hammett was centered in California, and his other characters were Los Angeles. So he was
L.A.,
West.
San
Okay.
Francisco.
Yeah, so-
and I
but that's
think,
a
I
good
mean, in the
question.
original movie, right, they do refer to the fact that she's a socialite from San Francisco. And when he retired from the police force, he got
Right,
married to
he
her, they
left.
moved to San Francisco. So there was the reference to San Francisco in that. But yeah, I think you're right. Dashiell Hammett's stomping grounds were California.
It was a pretty good pace going on there. Did it slow down after
yeah.
that?
I felt like it did.
I think you're right. It kind of did get a little bogged down in the
And
the
Catherine?
twists and turns and all the characters. Yeah, I still
There
I
were too
still
many
agree.
characters.
Yeah,
There was way too many people that...
That was your complaint the last time.
Yeah, and
and this was even more.
There was more. So, of course, I felt like there were characters legitimately just thrown into the film just to swerve you, to make you think, oh, maybe this is the person.
Right.
And then they disappeared. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll come back in the last 4 seconds where we find out who did it.
Like
Yes.
Dancer's
Yes.
Chinese partner, right?
Yeah.
You figure, okay,
this is going to be a main...
evil. Yeah, he's gonna. His brother got sent away by Nick.
Yep.
He ends up being the hero of the thing at the end.
He at least had a major role in the finish. He had a major role in the finish, whereas there was 2 or 3 characters I remember like watching going, okay, this is so-and-so, right, pay attention, this is going to
Yeah.
come back, this is going to come... And they never come back.
Yeah.
You never see them again. I like that was...
So are they set up as red herrings, but never,
Exactly.
but
Yeah,
never
yeah.
return?
There was
was a
quite a
bunch of
few
them.
red herrings.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's that's
But
a
if you
thriller.
do but it's true. But if you do too many, it confuses the audience.
At no point did it tie in. It was just...
So is that
A
where
scene.
the plot unravels a bit?
I don't know if the plot unravels, but it went in too many directions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think is a fair statement.
Yeah, it could be somewhat complex.
Maybe modern day films are just too one
Too
direction.
simplistic
and
nowadays. People short attention spans and things like that. I could be.
There's a reason why half the people went to The Sixth Sense
Yeah.
and 5 minutes in went, oh, he's dead. Okay. There's too many clues
Yeah.
that you get lost.
All right. You said too many clues, but the clues are all relevant in modern movies?
I think so.
Okay.
In more modern films, I think the clues are more hidden.
Right.
But if you pick up on them, you'll know the direction they're going.
But it's interesting because if you look at that genre, because this movie's based loosely on a printed work, right? The Maltese Falcon, all the Sherlock Holmes things and
Right.
all that. I think they were more prone back then to inject those red herrings. I think it was just the style and the culture at the time because cinema was still new. It hadn't developed, and audiences back then didn't have as much other entertainment venues or resources. So I think it was just the way that writers wrote stuff back then that
I think you
had
might be
a lot
onto
of
something.
that stuff.
I think you might be onto something because movies don't just unfold. They educate the audience as to how the story is being told.
Yeah.
And once they've learned to follow a story in one direction, one way,
Yes.
if you start throwing things at them, it confuses them.
Yeah.
Because they're expecting one thing. So you have to educate them to what you're doing. You got to
Yeah.
upgrade whatever their skills are.
Yeah.
Last time, there's so many comparisons we're going
Yes,
to do
well,
between these two movies. It's just natural. Loy and Powell acted completely different to everybody else. Is that still the case here, or did other people begin to act in a more, some ways more synchronistic to the way they were acting? James Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart, of course, and also the actress that played Polly, the
Penny
torch
Singleton.
singer, the nightclub singer. She didn't seem quite as theatrical as the actress that played the cousin and all the other side characters. They were all still playing the big, flamboyant, theatrical style.
They were playing to the balcony.
Yes, that's right. Whereas Jimmy Stewart and I think,
Penny.
was that Penny Singleton?
Yeah.
Her and Nick, William Powell and Myrna Loy and all that. They just, I don't know if there was another one or not. The guy that played Lieutenant Abrams, the cop, he kind of, but he still was playing somewhat to the balcony. But you could see glimpses of that naturalistic style of acting in him as well.
One thing I noticed in this one versus the first one was the first one, all the jokes were them. Nobody else got laughs but the two of them. In this one, it was spread more out. Other people had comedic scenes. Mm-hmm. The first one, the only one I can think of is somebody else who had a joke that made me laugh was the guy on the phone making long distance calls.
Right, yeah.
That was the only one in the first one where I was like, oh, he's making a comedic point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, I feel like more characters got punchlines in or comedic. I don't want to say Three Stooges style, but this one was more, there was more physical comedy than the first one.
Right.
The other thing I noticed, to talk about production value, the sound mixing was so much better. The sound effects matched the scenes. Whereas in the first one, I know it was a different time.
It's the difference between a B movie and an A movie.
Yeah, right,
and that's exactly it. When this film was coming out, at the time, sound mixing wasn't great. You know, the Wilhelm screams, they didn't match.
Yep.
Whereas this one, I didn't get lost in the bad production.
One of the interesting things about movies of that era is they always seem to have a lot of music in them.
Oh, the music in this one was good too.
Oh,
I thought it was good.
I didn't hear any music in it.
Oh,
that was one point I was going to make. There was no music playing in the suspenseful scenes in the background or anything.
I'm talking
Jim seems
did I
shocked
give
by
you
that.
guys both the same movie?
No, I'm thinking like during the New Year's scene.
Yeah.
The background music.
Oh, and the nightclub dance.
Yeah, the
scene.
production scene. The production scene.
But what I'm talking about is the music
your dun, dun,
background
dun,
of the
dun, dun,
movie.
dun,
Yeah,
your
the build suspense in that. I turned around to my wife and I said, "Did you notice? There's no bed track in this.
Okay.
Like they're not building suspense through music and all that. So I guess they were still learning that.
Yeah, because you're on to something. It's 1936. Sound came out in 29. It's
Yeah,
only
exactly.
7
It's only
years
been
in.
6 years.
They're still learning how to integrate. In fact, music seems to be something in that era. There has to be a musical number, somebody singing something, and I think a lot of that is the fact that we don't know what to do with sound yet, but we can give them a song.
We can give them a song. Plus, also, it was their entertainment. There was no television then,
True that.
right? So you need to have a catchy number just to
Almost every movie
perk
from
up
that.
the audience,
And
right? A feature.
Chris, you are blowing me away. You like the music here, and including the song she did in the nightclub.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice, again, going back to what Mario was saying, it did feel a little filler, like our scenes in the Rockies and that. But if you're going to throw something in for the sake of it's a nightclub and she's a performer and you need to build her character as a performer, show her performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
and you never know, right? That's the kind of thing they can pull and release as a record on the hit parade,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, and that's an interesting fact. And I've heard some very bad songs. If you go back to watch the Coconuts
Oh God, yeah.
from the Marx Brothers, and it just
What was that horrible movie you guys made me watch? Wait, we don't have time to list them all.
Debbie does that.
What was the one we did with
Bob Hope, the road to
the road to
Morocco.
Road to Morocco.
Yes, yeah.
There was 3 different points where we have to stop while we all sing a song in the garden.
So
And
you thought that was a bad movie, that one, right?
it's not that it was bad. It was just such a different time.
That segues into my question for you, Chris, because I know that Jim's now throwing a few of these movies at you from like the 30s and
Yep.
the 40s. Do you like watching that kind of movie, or is it merely you can appreciate it?
I have realized that 55 and onward, I'm good. I can watch all the old James Bonds,
Yeah.
Rio Bravo, some of the Westerns.
Yeah.
I can do all of them. Anything pre-World War II is kind of hard for me. I can't really appreciate it.
I get where you're coming from. I used to be like that.
Yeah.
And thanks to this broadcast or this podcast and those movies I've seen, all of a sudden I'm going, that's where it came from. Like I see echoes of stuff in those early movies, in modern movies. Prime example in this movie, the old butler at Aunt Catherine. Like he can barely stand up. They give him a hat and a coat to hold and he practically falls over. And then he does the seminal joke. Please walk this way. And William Powell just hits it perfectly. Almost looks at the camera and goes, okay, and starts walking like the old man. That's where it comes from. Now, I'm sure there's probably a vaudeville bit or something that stemmed from.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of like little lights go on. I've seen that in Mel Brooks movies. I've seen it on TV sketches. And they just repeat it and count on people never seeing it before.
It's almost like all these modern day writers and producers had to watch these films in film school.
Yes.
And went,
which is exactly what happens.
And that's exactly what it is. You know, they've all watched these films.
Probably. But I think that's something that is so common, it just becomes a trope and it just gets repeated as a result.
Yes. And for the masses, most of the masses don't because, like Chris,
Yeah.
wasn't alive back then, wasn't aware of that stuff, and sees it fresh for the first time.
I will say that your comment about the 30s, and this is probably why, Chris, you have a hard time with it, is that it is a very different time of life. And you've mentioned before about having a hard time picking up on the jargon that's used at the time.
Right.
But for somebody to go back and watch a movie from the 30s, there are virtually, I think most movies made in sound were probably made in the 30s. And after that, it begins to slow down, and there's fewer and fewer as time goes on, particularly after the 40s. It gets too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the reasons why I can watch a Western or I can watch Wizard of Oz. It's not a timepiece. In the case of a Western, it's a timepiece from way before the film's production years.
Right.
They're not using 40s jargon. They're using Western jargon.
And they're not making reference to
Modern
current
thi-
events
exactly.
for the time, right?
That's
So you
why
don't
I
have
can-
to do that. Whereas in the 30s, they throw in this stuff, and you need to know about history and what was happening, especially
Right.
Prohibition and stuff like that. So the references to that kind
There's
of
a
make
lot
sense.
of jokes that I had to look up. and once I caught because there was a couple, I'll be completely honest, there was a few times where somebody used a word where I was trying to spell it into Google, and I don't even know how to spell this word, let alone what it means, let alone the context it's being used in.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Was there more than one syllable, Chris? Was this
there
your
was
problem?
at least 3, but that's where I was getting lost.
And that was just the guy's first name.
Right? Who is Paul? That's where I think I was getting lost in it, and that's unfortunately something that's lost to time.
Can I just say about the party scene at the very beginning? You know, I am a huge hater of party scenes because they never convince me. Particularly modern ones, always seem to be people going, "Whoopee, look at me," trying to be happy. I bought that party scene. A bunch of people who are there on New Year's Eve who have had too much to drink, not even their house, having this party.
Yeah. Don't even know who the owners are when they come in, for the most part.
Was it convincing for you that it was a real party?
You
No.
also got to remember
Not to
it's that break of Christmas and New Year's where everybody is partying.
But still, to me, it was kind of like, this is a bit far-fetched.
Right.
It's like these people haven't been home, and all of a sudden they get home, and they took
And nobody
it really,
recognized them.
Nobody recognized.
Who let them in?
They had staff there. They were in the kitchen breaking
But
up
some
ice.
guest lets them in.
Yeah.
Takes their hat and coat, says, "Come on in, we're throwing a party for Nick and Nora," and just like he knows them. And then when they find out, no, and I could not believe how calmly they took everything. Oh,
I
just
think
let
that's-
them party. We're going to work our way to the
That's their
bedroom,
characters,
right?
though. That was kind of put in the first one.
Yeah, that's the guy with the
Yes.
long distance phone call.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
everything
that's
like
their
that.
character. Let them have fun.
Yeah, they got money to burn, and it's a good time.
Yep.
The family we've touched on it. The family that Nora came from.
Oh, geez.
It had-
the aunts and the uncles and the cousins, they were all screwed up. But I think that was the whole play during the Depression. It's like you're doing this for the common folk, So you want them to laugh at the elite that aren't suffering like them. You need to give them an opportunity to laugh at and make fun of.
I found it hard to relate that she was actually one of their family members because she was such a different character than all of them played along the same line, and she was so different.
Yes.
That it was hard to associate them as family.
Yeah. Even Selma, her
cousin.
Her cousin.
Oh, so dramatic. My God.
I like to think I'm different than some of my family members, but there's definitely traits and qualities that I have that they have. Whereas this was completely different.
I agree with you. Your mother's beard is probably just a total giveaway that you...
It's still got pigment, unlike mine. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they are relics of a bygone age. It's funny because they're still a mainstay today.
Downton Abbey. The first thing I thought of in that scene at dinner with the old folks around the table in their, gowns and tuxedos and stuff like that. And then after dinner where the women are off drinking tea and the men are sleeping with the, around the table and all that. And I thought that this is straight out of Downton Abbey. And that resonated with.
How sincere do you think is Nora's concern about how Nick behaves around them?
I got the feeling that she didn't care enough for her family to care.
Yeah, she wasn't very defensive of her family.
No, it was completely different than you'd see today.
That's not how that character would be played.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it would all be like, oh, my mother's here. You can't act that way.
Yeah.
But I also got the feeling, again, because she was so different than her family, that she didn't want him to play up for them.
Okay, I'll go along with that. Now, you've made comments about the plot here, about the mystery. Could it have been a better mystery than the first one?
I don't think the first one was a good mystery, so I would say this one was better.
See, and I feel the other way. I think the first one was a better mystery than this one.
The thing I remember from watching the first one that you and I both agreed on, because I listened to our episode beforehand,
I reserve the right to change my mind.
was the fact that both of us said, when it came down to the reveal of who it was, we both said, who was this guy?
Yeah.
Whereas
in this one,
we had been introduced to the character.
Yeah.
We got a feeling for him. It was believable as one of the main cast members. Okay, that's who it was the whole time. Did you get the feeling that he knew it was him the whole time?
No.
Because
he even says that. He even says that. He says, I was going somewhere else. He was thinking it was somewhere else. And it was the janitor. Talk about an obscure. You don't even see the guy's face other than a picture, right?
Yeah.
The janitor who happened to jerry-rig this ladder from I wouldn't have gone on that thing to go one floor down in a multi-floor apartment building. Anyway, but all you see is his hand. You never see his face other than in the picture. And to clue in on the white long mustache versus the short dark mustache.
You said you had seen him 6 years ago, and
that came in from left field.
It definitely did. It would be nice if we'd seen him at the estate or he stopped in for something and then later on it comes back.
Yeah.
But as you said, it just came in from left field.
And the thing too is his whole reasoning about the mustache and the gray pigment in the mustache. And then he points to a picture. We hadn't seen that picture before.
Yeah, exactly.
So how were we as an audience to figure that clue out?
Yeah.
So you felt cheated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I felt cheated, but I felt like it was one of the main clues for Nick to discover who it was hidden from us.
Yeah.
And he doesn't discover it until he's gathered all the suspects in one room.
Right.
And is going through. And that picture is sitting on a table off to the side that nobody's looking at.
No, yeah, you wouldn't have seen it in the background. It's not like it in earlier scenes it was hanging on the wall and you could have put it together.
Now, on the one hand, maybe audiences back then appreciated those kinds of things more than we do now.
Maybe they're still trying to figure out how a thriller comes together.
Yeah.
This is still early enough in film that, like you said, we were still on radio programs at this time.
Now, you mentioned before that the laughs were better in this movie. Were they better integrated in the other movie than they are here?
Yes. I thought so. In the first one, the laughs were more part of the story or had a part in the story, whereas I felt this one was more somebody went, I got a good joke. Where can we put it?
Where do we put it? Yeah.
Well, never was it more glaring for me in this one. And it's funny because I've seen this so many times, and now that I've rewatched it in a critical manner, the scene where a rock gets thrown through the window that Asta gets and runs away with.
Yeah.
And we have a protracted chase of Asta so staged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing to my wife as we were watching. I said, this scene is totally unnecessary. Like that whole chase around to get
Right.
the thing. And I guess they were playing it for laughs because the
I
dog was so
for
popular.
I was waiting for the Benny Hill to.
Yeah, you could see them in super
Yeah.
fast motion going around. Yeah.
At the New Year's party where he's making out with the wrong person,
Right?
and then it's just excused like, "Oh, that happens."
Yeah,
Yes, I know. It's kind of like,
Oh boy! If any of us had tried to pull that, I think
She
the
is
night would have
very-
been different.
she's very understanding.
Well, and it was the woman he was making out with. It was her husband that comes and sits at the table. And he goes,
Yeah,
oh,
and he doesn't do anything. He
and
just dismisses
He
him.
just dismisses, like, oh, somebody's kissing my wife again. What was that? That can't be a thing of the times.
No.
That was just slapstick of, isn't this goofy? He doesn't even know who he's making out with.
What did you think of how the movie ended?
Okay, I've been waiting to ask you this question. Did you figure that out? Obviously, you've seen this a bunch of times, so maybe this is better for Mario.
Yeah.
Did you figure out that she was pregnant at any point earlier in the film?
No, that never
And
dawned
when you
on me.
rewatched it, there was no like clues leading up to
No,
anything?
not to me.
Okay, because that's the one thing I said was at the end, I went, oh, I didn't know that was coming. Did I miss a bunch of stuff?
No, it was the setup for the next movie, right?
Right,
They
okay.
needed to do a setup for it, so they did it then. They
And-
weren't even thinking that in this.
Sorry,
And
Phil.
you are
It's
completely
revealed that she's
wrong.
pregnant at
Am
the
I?
end.
Yeah.
So they just did that as a setup for the next
No,
film?
it's not.
I thought. That's what I thought.
It's exactly what I would have thought. There's two things that usually happen whenever you have that happen. One is exactly like you said, Mario.
Yeah.
It sets up the next movie, but it also indicates that the people who do the show are losing confidence in it, and they feel they have to do something to keep interest. Whenever you watch a TV
okay.
show and all of a sudden a baby comes on, it's
Yeah.
usually when the
That
show
they're
is in
running
decline.
out of ideas for the
Or-
the standard premise.
Or
Right.
on a TV show, it's the actress actually got pregnant. We have to throw this in for the
Yes,
sake
we
of
have to
doing
accommodate
it.
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, it was written that way by the writers because they didn't want to write another Thin Man movie.
Oh, so they thought that would be the element.
How
that
can he possibly
stopped
be a detective, go through all of this sort of stuff
and
with
be
a child?
father? Yeah, with
It's
a
the
baby.
smashing of the guitars so we don't have to do an encore.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
To put it
exactly
in, yeah.
what
Yeah.
it is. But they turned around, and this movie was so popular, they sent him back and said, we want you to write another one. They lost their impetus. They didn't, there was that freshness to what we talked about from the first Thin Man movie that you didn't get in this because you
Right.
understood things.
Right.
But once you begin to understand things, you have to find something new that you don't understand. It becomes much more difficult to do, to bring up something that, new and fresh.
No, I'm not going to watch the third one.
So don't even try, Jim.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I think two's enough, Jim.
two is great.
There is another one where they have Nicky Jr., and it is played by Dean Stockwell,
Very good,
Wow.
very good.
Wow.
about 8 or 10 years old at the time.
There's another actor in this film that really caught my attention. And that was the actor that played the nightclub singer's brother/husband,
Right?
Paul Fix, who went on to be a major television actor, like through till I think the 90s or something when he passed away. The role that stands out for me, he played, and now this is going to date things as well.
A
He
sheriff?
played the sheriff in The Rifleman. He played Sheriff
The
Micah
Rifleman.
Torrance
Oh,
in The Rifleman with Chuck Connors and Johnny Crawford, who is the
The Rifleman?
who's the son.
my dad has made me watch a lot of the Riflemen.
So Sheriff
Sunday
Sheriff
mornings at
Micah
his house.
Torrance was played by Paul Fix, big in westerns, but also in some. He was in I think the first episode of Star Trek, or in the first season of Star Trek, and played a character
The
in
original?
that as well. Yeah, the original series. And when he appeared on screen in this movie, I said, I know that face.
This was filmed, a lot of it in San Francisco, so that's where they were. They booked into the St. Francis Hotel and discovered they'd been booked together into the same room because the hotel assumed from the movie they were married. So this is an interesting movie because you know what we never bothered to do throughout, and to everybody who has
The synopsis.
we never did a synopsis, and I'm not going to ask you to do it now. It's
I was
too
going to say, I decline.
Well, briefly, it picks up after the Thin Man original movie in there on vacation. They come back, and lo and behold, there's a mystery that unfolds because Nora's cousin, Selma, her husband, who's a ne'er-do-well playboy, has been missing for a few days, and so they ask Nick to track him down. And in the tracking down, a murder happens, and the whole mystery thing unfolds from there. So how's that for a quick synopsis?
I think that's probably one of Mario's best.
That was perfect.
Okay, yeah.
And I can't help but think you had that locked
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
loaded
say-
before you even arrived.
Was that written on pen and paper or tablet? I will say, I think one of my favorite scenes was at the end with Nora going, you didn't even know, some detective you are.
Oh, yeah, when she was pregnant.
When she was pregnant. I thought that was a nice little, she still got that jab in.
Now, let me ask you one last question about the movie, then we're going to wrap it up here. Do you need to see The Thin Man, the original one, in order to appreciate and enjoy this movie?
I think so. Yeah, it could stand alone. The characters were set up at the beginning, like you said, Chris, right? Like, you see how popular he is. You find out where she comes from, so you get all that background in the characters. So that's not necessary from the first movie.
You would miss some subtle things, but nothing important.
That.
You could watch it.
It could stand on its
You
own
could
2
watch
feet.
it and tell me it's an original and go, okay, sure, yeah.
Well, let me ask this question. Should people watch these movies?
Oh, I'm the wrong person to ask that.
I do. I mean, it really... If you're into movies, well, even if you're not, there's so much out there now. People are so ingrained in their
There's so much
preferences and
content
stuff.
and-
Yeah, unless you're kind of, I don't even want to say an efficient, but a fan. It's hard to compel people to watch these movies. There is entertainment value, but I'm just fascinated by you see where everything started.
I enjoyed
You
the
see where
first
it's
one.
from,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Like I said, I won't watch it again, but I wouldn't.
That doesn't, yeah.
I wouldn't say it was a bad film. I enjoyed it.
I would suggest that if anybody is out there who's maybe having a hard time finding something to watch among the newer movies, it's maybe time to rediscover some of this stuff. And that's really what this podcast is all about.
Yeah.
And I think these are 2 really good choices of movies. Don't sit there and expect Gone with the Wind, because it's not.
No.
But if you want something light and fluffy and enjoyable where you can have a
But
pleasant
not even
time-
that. I mean, these movies, they were all based on literature. They were based on novels, short stories,
Right.
historical fiction, historical documentaries, that kind of thing, like All Quiet on the Western Front, which was a silent movie. But the movies nowadays are based on other movies. Whereas in those days, the origin of those movies, because it was new and fresh, was based on the written word.
Original source material.
Yes, original source material. And movies nowadays is like, Robots 2, or,
Everything is
everything.
part
Yeah,
4.
Predator 2, Predator 3, Predator 4, 5, 6.
If you're a film fan, if you're a movie fan in general, the first one is definitely worth watching. AFI put it on their top 100 movies to watch. It's on the list. It's not a bad movie.
I love this because your approach to these movies when we started was even on The Thin Man, and now you turned around and said, yeah, definitely worth watching. Great.
It's worth watching once.
Okay, yeah, well,
If
well,
you're
You
a-
develop,
if you're
a film fan,
you develop an
aficionado,
appreciation.
right?
It may not change your habits or whatever.
Yeah. The hard part is you have to watch this with the mindset of how old the movie is.
Yeah.
You have to take that into account. At the end, when she reveals she's pregnant, how much was she drinking during the movie? Nowadays, oh my, that would...
And you're completely right, but that's kind of like a modern innovation, like even into the
But that's what I'm
60s.
saying.
They
You
didn't
have
learn
to-
that till
Yeah.
later.
You have to watch it with
Yeah.
the time frame in mind.
Within the context of the period.
And the black and white really does help remind you consistently.
Well, black and
that's
white
when it
works
was.
really well for old mysteries. You know,
Because it's dark and it's
and the film noir visual experience.
I love that you said that because I completely agree with you. I think a film noir and the black and white, just the shadows, just
yes,
seem
they
to
convey
add.
so much drama.
They do.
And why didn't you see it? Well, it's dark. How many times now, like in the Jason Bourne films, he's running around in the dark, but it's beautifully lit.
Yeah.
Well, it's that horrible blue filter now that they use at night for everything.
Everything.
It's just it's tiresome.
You're exactly right. The black and white. If it's night, the scene is dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we had no trivia questions for this movie, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with comedian Nick Duncan to talk about 1967's Predator, oddly enough.
87, Jim.
Jesse Ventura and Arnold Schwarzenegger were in the movie, and Ventura had to buy Arnold a bottle of champagne, and I want to know if you know why he had to do that. And so you don't miss that episode, you should hit the subscribe button right now. That way you won't miss a single episode of this, the longest running vanity podcast of all time. And don't forget to give us a rating or a review if you can. It helps us reach even more listeners. If you want to contact us, you can do so at balconypodcast@icloud.com. We're also on Facebook. Look for the microphone against the red background. Thanks to both of you for doing this. Chris, you have anything coming up you want to talk about? And where can people follow you if they want to?
Instagram, Chris Has Fun, every Monday and Wednesday at Nickelbrook Brewery.
Burlington, Ontario.
Burlington, I'm hosting different events. Yeah, come on out.
And what about you, Mario? Anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Nothing that a little Viagra couldn't help.
I was going to say new shoes, new hat, new car, anything along those lines. And what about you, Phil? I honestly forgot to write a little funny remark about you.
You know what? That's fine. I prefer it that way, Jim.
It's been years of quips against Phil.
Well,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
I forget what number this is, but we're closing in on number 250 in number of podcasts that we have done. And
How many years have we been at this?
we have been at this over 10 years.
Unbelievable.
We will be.
I was a much younger man back
That's how age
when
works.
we started.
Irony is, this started because of Mario. When I threw this
It's all
concept
my
out to
fault.
friends, he was the first one who said, "Yeah, that sounds like fun."
I'm going to have to stop this before I die on set.
No, it's been great because your family can listen to all these episodes and chart your decline as you go along.
Oh, the memory's starting to go around this point.
Yeah.
You know what we should do since we did that? We should do the Thin Man, the original.
That's where it
You
started.
can edit that one out.
No, I'm leaving that one in. I'm sorry.
Oh, look, his sense of humor is going too.
You introduced the dementia. I'm leaving it in. As for me, I'm the same old Jimmy England, and you'll find me right here when we go back to the balcony. Have a great one, everybody. Oh, and Happy New Year. This is the first podcast of the new year.
Happy New Year.